Well, spring is finally here. These little miniature irises, they're absolutely wonderful little things. Lovely. These hazel catkins. Wonderful. The trees festooned with them. There's a woodpecker using this little hole for jamming nuts in out of the garden and bashing them open. and he's also got one around the back of this branch. He's also got one there. It's getting bigger and bigger. I don't suppose it's doing a branch any good either, but never mind. Down at the bottom, of course, is there are all the shells. Doesn't it? Well, it's March the 26th, and today it's gardening. Well, there's not much to show you the garden. The very few flowers around. Hedges, beech hedges, still all brown. There are some miniature daffodils. It's a lovely little display of absolutely tiny daffodils. Beautiful. In amongst these blue anemones. Lovely little things. And that's the usual anemone that spreads everywhere. It's a lovely colour. But occasionally they throw up one of these, sort of two-coloured. It's white, and there's blue sepals at the back. Beautiful. And then this one's the other way around. It's got very pale sepals in that lovely blue colour inside. It's a lovely thing. Well, the garden's just sitting here, waiting for a bit of warm weather. So several jobs to do. The first of these is I've got to prune these trees. This is a Bramley which needs taking back. I should have done it a while ago, but with the cold weather and having been away, I haven't got round to it, so I really must get this done before these buds begin to break. So that's the job for this afternoon. This is a copper beech which has done nothing. You wouldn't believe it, it's been in there for 20 years. And that's as far as it's got. So I'm going to move it before it dies off completely. And I should really get that done before it's in leaf. So that's another job for the day. And all this is to burn, but it's still a bit cold, and last year I disturbed a hedgehog when I set about this, so I might just leave that for a little bit longer. I also need an easterly wind so that the smoke is carried away from other people's houses. It tends to burn for about a week. There's the first of the Snake's Head fritillaries to come through. There'll be a lot more later. One of the main features in the garden is this weeping ash, which when it's in leaf is beautiful. But a disease was introduced into the country from Holland in about 2012 called ash dieback, which they say is going to be as bad as Dutch elm disease, which totally wiped out the elm trees in the country. And I've just noticed the first signs of it on here. So what I'm going to have to do is cut it right back to some green wood. Right. You can see the signs of it there. If I scratch here, you see it's nice and green. If I scratch there, you will see that it is brown. So that yellowing there is typical of ash dieback. So I'll just get the secateurs and chop that off. I removed a fair amount of it yesterday without seemingly damaging the tree. If I keep my eyes open and keep cutting back to green wood, hopefully I can prevent it from spreading any further. But the prognosis is not very good, apparently. You can see it better on these pieces I removed yesterday. Hopefully I've caught it in time. Yeah, another little job, or maybe not a little big job, is to fix this fence. I might get somebody in to do that. They're always a pain. Last year, one of the problems in the garden was poor foliage on the fruit trees. So yellowing of the leaves, and I suspect it's lack of magnesium. This land is alluvial rubble underneath, a thin scraping of soil, so it drains very, very quickly, and I suspect it's very, very lacking in minerals. So I bought some Epsom salts, magnesium sulfate, which I'll dose these fruit trees with. It's a tablespoonful for every gallon, which I think works out about a teaspoonful a litre anyway. So what I'm going to do is, before the leaves start forming, I'm going to soak the ground around each tree with this mixture of a tablespoonful for every gallon of water. I'll also at the same time give them a light run of fertiliser, just general fertiliser, Gromor or similar, just to get them off to a good start. So that's one of the jobs for today. So this is the Epsom salts. A great big tub of them, so I'll probably give them a dose every couple of months, just to see what a difference it makes. It'd be interesting to see what a difference it makes to the grass growing under the trees as well. Now we're a decent sized watering can with a rose with big holes in. It doesn't take too long. It's all very well having fine rows when you're watering seedlings and things like that, but when you've got a big job like this to do, you need something with some decent holes in the rows. You can apply Epsom salts as a foliar feed. Just make up a mixture, and when the plant's in full leaf, just spray it on. Which is alright if it's things like rose bushes or small bushes, but on big trees it's not really practical. But yeah, supposedly perks them up no end. I've never tried it. I think it's also very good on plants with lots of leaf. I don't know, maybe leafy vegetables, but I couldn't swear to it, but I'm sure there's loads of information about these things on the internet, the fount of all knowledge. Anyway, I'm going to have to try and get this little beech tree out and shift it. And it's proving a bit more difficult than I thought. I need to get a bar out, I think, because its roots are in amongst all this and all this river rubble. This was a beautiful blue Ceanothus. Very, very big. It's about 8 feet tall and about 8 feet wide. And it survived many, many frosts. What nailed it in the end was a hoarfrost, where the fog was freezing on the leaves. And in one night, that was it. It was killed, which was a great shame. Anyway, I managed to get 2 cuttings away. I took 4 from a similar Ceanothus, the dark blue one, and here they are now. They're about, I think they're about 2 years old now, and ready for moving. Well, the bay tree and the rosemary seem to have come through the frosts very well. Yes, it's just beginning to flower, this bay. And the rosemary is coming into flower as well. The bees will be on it shortly. Considering how prolific this bay and rosemary are, although they're in a sheltered place, I'm always staggered by how much you have to pay for this stuff when you go into a delicatessen or a supermarket. Well, a big plant pot supporting the this sort of bird bath, this homemade thing. Fortunately, it doesn't survive very well at all. This is frost damage, and it's obviously going to have to be repaired, or well, it's going to have to be scrapped, and I'll have to get another one. Just add to the list of jobs that need doing. Most fruit trees are grafted onto a sort of wild rootstock. This is a conference pear, which produces nice pears, hopefully, and this is a wild rootstock, and they tend to throw up these shoots from the rootstock. So this is a sort of wild pear of some description, and if I leave them, of course, they will take all the nutrients, and the tree won't survive. So I need to cut them off. Well, I've cut back all these brambles and taken out all the dead wood. They're incredibly vigorous. If you leave them, they'll take over this whole patch in now, take a couple of years. So you really do have to keep them under control, but they do produce wonderful brambles. But they're incredibly thorny. Well, this is where the potatoes will be going in, but not for a while yet, not till we get rid of the last frost. A good indication of when to plant your potatoes is when the farmers do it, which is not for a few weeks yet. But I'll bring the I've got a lot of rotten vegetation on there, which really needs digging in. And I'll just give the rotivator a try. I'll run on it and see how it copes with it. So the tines don't get all tangled up in it. But it's very soft here. You can dig it. You can deep dig this. It's not like that turf up there. There's another little patch here next to strawberries, between the strawberries and the asparagus. I'll just give that a whiz while I've got the thing out. There's the rhubarb making its appearance. I should cover it up with an old galvanised bin from the old days, before the days of wheelie bins and plastic bags, which is ideal for covering this up. But I've still got a load in the freezer from last year, so I probably won't bother. But it's very, very good for you. It's forced rhubarb, and very, very nice with custard. This is another very nice flower in the garden. It flowers all year round, and it's got these dark green leaves. This is the lesser periwinkle, Vinca minor, but there is a larger version of it, but it's not as neat and tidy as that. Oh, lovely flower, lovely colour with a green background. Beautiful little thing. And of course it covers the ground. It's growing along the bottom of this hedge. In fact, it's gradually climbing up the hedge. And probably need trimming back a little bit. Last year I dug out the rhubarb and it was absolutely enormous. Lots of it was dead. So I kept a small piece which I've put in here. So this year I won't force it. I'll just leave it to strengthen up the roots. Next year I'll force it next year, but this area of the lawn produces hundreds of cowslips. They're absolutely beautiful, but of course if you leave them to grow you end up with a lot of long grass to have to deal with, which in the past has been a bit of a nuisance. So what I've done in the past is I've just left islands of grass where the cowslips are particularly prolific. But now I've got a scythe mower, I can leave them, and then later in the year when they've all seeded I can bring the scythe mower in here and take away the long grass. So that's the plan for this year in this bit. And growing in the lawn is this snake's head fritillary. Aren't they a lovely flower? That was beautiful, the pattern on the petals.